One phone call, 4:12 in the morning, 7 words that changed everything. Congressman Jamie Raskin stood up, pressed play on an audio device, and the chamber heard Stephen Miller's voice saying something no one expected to hear. "He'll pardon us if we get caught." Miller's attorney lunged forward. Too late. The recording was already playing for every camera, every microphone, every person in that room. Raskin walked in carrying nothing. No briefcase, no folder, just a small black audio recorder in his jacket pocket. Miller had no idea what Raskin had obtained through a sealed federal subpoena 3 days earlier. The first 23 minutes were routine. Miller looked comfortable, almost bored. Then Raskin took the microphone. "Mr. Miller." The room shifted instantly, not gradually, instantly. That moment when the temperature drops and everyone knows something is about to break. Raskin did not smile, did not grandstand, just pulled the audio device from his pocket and set it on the table. "Before I begin my questioning, I want to play something for this committee and for the American people watching. This is an audio recording obtained through lawful subpoena of telecommunications records. The call was placed at 4:12 a.m. on April 3rd of this year. The participants were you, Mr. Miller, and 2 other individuals whose identities have been confirmed through voice analysis and phone records. One of those individuals is currently under criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. The other is a senior White House counsel." The room went dead silent. Miller's face changed. That micro-expression that lasts a fraction of a second before training takes over. His attorneys noticed. All 3 leaned forward simultaneously. "Before I play this, Mr. Miller, do you recall participating in a phone call at 4:12 a.m. on April 3rd with White House counsel and another individual currently under DOJ investigation?" Miller's voice when he answered was measured, careful. "Congressman, I participate in numerous confidential communications in the course of my official duties. Many of these communications are protected by executive privilege and attorney-client privilege. I cannot confirm or deny specific conversations without reviewing the legal basis for their disclosure." Raskin nodded slowly, like he expected exactly that answer, wanted exactly that answer. Executive privilege, attorney-client privilege. We will return to those claims in a moment. But first, I want this committee and the American people to hear what you said at 4:12 in the morning. He pressed play. The audio quality was perfect, not a wiretap, not a recording from across a room, direct capture from telecommunications infrastructure. Every word crystal clear, every breath audible. Miller's voice came through first, unmistakable, the same voice that had been answering questions for 23 minutes. "I am telling you both, if this comes out before the election, we are finished, all of us." A second voice, male, slightly older, later confirmed as White House counsel. "Stephen, we have protocols in place. The documentation is compartmentalized. Treasury has been instructed to classify the reports under national security review. Nobody outside our circle knows the full scope." Miller again. "And if someone talks? If one of the contractors decides to cooperate with investigators?" A third voice, younger, later identified as the individual under DOJ investigation. "That is not going to happen. We have assurances, financial assurances, and other considerations. People understand what is at stake." Miller's voice again. "And if it does happen, if somehow this gets to a grand jury?" Long pause, 5 seconds, 6, 7. Then Miller spoke the words that would end up in every legal filing for the next year. "He'll pardon us if we get caught. That is already understood. The president knows what we are doing. He authorized it. If it becomes public and there are charges, he will issue blanket pardons before he leaves office. We just need to keep this contained until then." The chamber exploded, not gradually, instantly, like someone detonated something. Journalists on their feet, camera operators scrambling, committee members shouting over each other, the chairman banging his gavel so hard it sounded like gunshots. "Order, order. I will clear this chamber. Sit down now." Miller did not move, did not speak. His face had gone completely pale, not the pale of surprise, the pale of someone whose entire world just collapsed in real time on national television. His lead attorney was on his feet. "Mr. Chairman, I move to strike this recording from the record on grounds of attorney-client privilege. This conversation clearly involved legal counsel and is protected." Raskin cut him off, not yelling, just talking over him calmly. "Counselor, attorney-client privilege does not protect communications in furtherance of a crime. Discussing a presidential pardon in advance of any public charges with consciousness that criminal activity has occurred meets the definition of criminal conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. Section 371. Your client just admitted on tape that the president authorized whatever they are doing, that they expect criminal charges, and that they have arranged a pardon in advance. That is not legal advice. That is evidence of ongoing criminal conduct. Furthermore, executive privilege does not apply when the communication involves planning criminal activity. The crime-fraud exception is well established in federal law. He turned back to Miller, voice dropping, becoming quieter, more dangerous. Mr. Miller, when you said he'll pardon us if we get caught, who is he? Miller did not answer. When you said the president knows what we are doing, he authorized it. What activity were you referring to? Silence. When you said we just need to keep this contained until then, what specifically are you trying to contain? More silence. Miller's hands were flat on the table, pressed down hard, knuckles white, that small muscle near his jaw twitching rapidly. Then Raskin pulled out the timeline. Mr. Miller, this recording was made on April 3rd at 4:12 a.m. 4 days later, April 7th, a federal grand jury was impaneled to investigate financial irregularities in border security contracts. That same week, 2 potential witnesses in that investigation received sudden transfers out of their positions. One was reassigned to a remote facility in Alaska. The other was placed on administrative leave pending a security review that has still not been completed. He set documents on the table one by one. April 3rd, your phone call discussing pardons. April 7th, grand jury impaneled. April 9th, first witness transferred. April 11th, second witness placed on leave. April 14th, Treasury report on border contracts suddenly classified as national security sensitive. Every single event you discussed in that 4:12 a.m. phone call happened within 2 weeks. You said Treasury has been instructed to classify the reports. They were classified. You said we have assurances about contractors not cooperating. 2 potential witnesses were removed from their positions. You said we need to keep this contained. Every piece of documentation that might expose what you are doing has been locked down. Then the 17 calls. Phone records showing 17 similar calls between Miller, White House counsel, and individuals connected to border security contracts, all between midnight and 5 a.m., each one corresponding directly with a specific financial transaction or a specific official action. March 16th at 1:53 a.m., call between Miller and contractor. 2:17 a.m., wire transfer for $847,000. This is not coincidence. This is a pattern. Mr. Miller, the Constitution gives the president the power to grant pardons, but what the president cannot do is use the pardon power as part of a criminal conspiracy. He cannot authorize criminal activity and promise pardons in advance to protect co-conspirators. That transforms mercy into a tool of corruption. And when a senior White House advisor says on tape, he'll pardon us if we get caught, that is evidence the pardon power is being weaponized. Mr. Miller, when you said he'll pardon us if we get caught, were you referring to the President of the United States? The silence that followed lasted exactly 395 seconds, 6 minutes and 35 seconds, the longest recorded silence in a congressional hearing in modern history. Multiple journalists timed it, congressional staffers, legal analysts watching live. 395 seconds where Miller could have denied it, could have clarified it, could have explained that he was joking, that he was misunderstood, that the context was different. He said nothing, not one word, face pale, hands gripping the table, attorneys surrounding him but not making eye contact, just writing, just preparing. And Stephen Miller sat there in complete silence while the audio of his own voice, "He'll pardon us if we get caught," played over and over in people's minds. When the chairman finally called for recess, Miller stood immediately. His attorneys formed a wall around him, walked straight out, cameras following, reporters shouting questions he would not answer. Because what could he possibly say? The recording existed, the timeline matched perfectly. All of it on the permanent congressional record. And Stephen Miller sat in that chamber for 395 seconds and refused to answer whether he discussed criminal pardons with the president.